Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Now, these are the days that I like. Did you see what came out today? Firstly, well, a few big pieces of news came out today. We're going to knock one out. Then we're going to get to the major stuff in that second chapter. I said there are major problems in the system. We've been dissecting these problems. That's one. What came out today confirms that even further. Two, second thing, I told, and I said this for years, I showed and posited that there's a war going on within the legacy banking system between two sides. That's why sometimes you hear this news, you hear that. And one of them has control over the mainstream media, the other one not so much. That spilled over today. They can't deny it. Today, screenshot these articles, look into them, dig into this. I almost hate to start with this article, but we're going to start with this is big news as well. Let's get this out of the way quickly. Now, this article here is titled Ripple acquires crypto wallet and custody firm Palisade. Great news. Great news. But that other news, the other news that we're going to cover, that's where you find out they need the liquidity. They need the bridge currencies. They need the real world asset tokenization, which if you have RWA, is meaningless if you don't have corridors all over the world, which there's a lot of great companies. A lot of great companies in the new financial system even. But who has the most corridors? Who? Who has the most connections to large financial institutions where you could just go down a list and it's easy? Bank of America, Santander, SBI, multiple banks in Australia, multiple banks in the MENA region. That's a fact. Those are all facts. Let me straighten myself out. Who has that? Wait, what? Huh? Don't hold back now. Who was it? Right. This is where you find out they need all of that. It's real. I mean, you know, it was real before, but it's like a painting where there's a little bit of extra work being done. And now the picture becomes that much more clear. Let's get back to this article. We need to knock this one right out the park. But this is not news to us. We know Ripple's going to acquire things. We know they're steaming forward with pushing XRP. That's what the custodying is all about. Oh, RLUSD, which is nothing. How many different institutions have to tell people that stablecoins aren't stable? How many different financial institutions have to reject the idea of stablecoins while they're forced to utilize them? Even though you have large banking systems like the Bank of England saying, hey, listen, stablecoin, I don't know about that. Just tokenize your value outright. ECB, stablecoins aren't stable, even though they're going to use them. They're forced to use them. It's the Trojan horse. I'm not worried about that. No. So that it's nothing without XRP, bridge currency liquidity aspect. So who's the real winner? Who's the champ? Who's the muscle behind everything? It's going to be utilized in private ecosystem, XRP. It's simple as that. This is not rocket science. I mean, listen, this is my humble opinion based on my research. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not here to convince you either. I just present the information. You look it up. It's up to you. Not financial advice. Let's go here. But that's why they're doing this. Think about it. Oh, crypto wallets, crypto custody. And then all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, everyone has an XRP treasury. Meanwhile, for years, they were pushing this narrative. That was very suspicious, was it not? That they're not going to hold XRP. You were in the comment sections. You saw that pushed everywhere. Did you not? You saw it in the articles getting pushed everywhere. Don't let them get away with it, right? No. But then now, all of a sudden, I don't know, XRP treasuries everywhere. Does that not mean that they're going to hold XRP? Does it matter if they hold XRP for a few days, a few months, or a few years? Not really. It still impacts that price, right? Right. Oh, these are the type of days I live for. I like it a lot. You know you want to say that. You wear this mask all day for people out there. You want to let your beard grow. You want to get a little scraggle. And you want to say, I like it a lot. Just say it one time. I like it a lot. Jim Carrey classic. Let's keep going. Let's try to bring a little joy to your day. I know I did. Now, somebody's like, no, you didn't, Mick. No, you didn't. They told me The subscribers definitely let me know. They said, Mick, a lot of people. They said, Mick, when you say to do something, I do the opposite. I do the opposite. They told me. I'm like, I can respect that. They're contrarian. I can respect that. I get it. They said, Mick, if you tell me to click that like button, I'm not going to click it. Dang. Okay. I respect it. I want people to have their own minds and do their own things. I respect that. All right. It makes the world beautiful to have all these contrasts. It says Ripple has acquired digital wallet provider and custody firm Palisade. The blockchain-based financial technology company announced on Monday, adding to its growing list of recent mega purchases. There's going to be more. They haven't started buying banks. Wait a minute. You forgot about that? And I'm not speaking on just this particular aspect, which, don't get me wrong, the possibility of Ripple, creating a subsidiary bank because it got bank licensing and then it has an account with the Fed, that's very pulchritudinous, no doubt about it. But remember what the UK financial institutions are attempting to do in the US. Instead of going through all those rigorous, channels they got to go through to become a bank, they said, you know what? We can go around all that and just buy banks. And when they buy the bank, they inherit all of those credentials. That's wild, isn't it? That's what they said. That's what the expert said. Ripple could do that. You don't think Ripple could do that? I said that and presented the evidence in a video a while back. They could do the same thing, more so than these other companies. They have more value to work with than some of these non-banking financial institutions. Anyway, they're doing this wallet stuff mainly, I know it, because of XRP. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, they could use wallets for anything, Mick. Make no mistake about it, I believe this is going to be using private ecosystems. Let's see what they have to say. Private ecosystems, say it a third time for me so I don't have to do it myself. The acquisition is expected to increase the firm's custody capacity, allowing Ripple to better serve crypto native firms, financial technology companies, and other corporations. What's the other corporations? What's that? Really? Okay, let's keep going. Ripple did not disclose the terms of the deal. I don't need to know the terms of the deal. Quote, secure digital asset. You already gave me enough. I'm going to rip this apart. Over time. Secure digital asset custody unlocks the crypto economy and is the foundation that every blockchain-powered business stands on. That's why it's central to Ripple's product strategy, unquote, said Ripple President Monica Long. Do your thing, Monica. You've been doing a good job. Just from me to you. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the videos or not. You did a good job. It says, quote, corporates are poised to drive the next. You got to tell them good job. You want to incentivize these people. They're helping us get to that bank money. Why not tell them good job? Well, it doesn't hurt. Quote, corporates are poised to drive the next massive wave of crypto adoption. I told you years ago, didn't I? Just as we've seen major banks. There you go. Corporates. Right. Why use that language? Just say banks. Oh, I forgot. See, the mainstream is grabbing a hold of this. This is on Yahoo. Yahoo.com. Yahoo. Remember that? Yahoo.com. Some of you too young. You don't remember Yahoo having that sound attached to it. That's okay. I brought it to the forefront. Today. Not then. I was not a Yahoo person at all. Like I used it a little bit just because, Yahoo was popular first. I used that. Then Google came along. I didn't like Google. I started using Google, but I used like Alta Vista, and you remember those things like Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves. I wasn't really a Ask Jeeves person, but I remember it. Anyway, why not just say banks? See, you know that Yahoo's covering this. Is the point. And so it's mainstream. You don't want people to get too bullish. That's the only reason you manipulate the language like that, or you would just say banks. You don't want the people that banks are going to get in on it. It's too late. You can't stop the information. Not you, the viewer, but like these ones who believe they're in such a high and mighty place that they get to decide who gets access to information, who does not. Let's keep going. So major banks observing to actively building in crypto, right? All right, Palisades wallet as a service product, which offers features like multi-party computation. I just want to see if they're going to talk about the private aspect of this, which is like if you're working with corporates, if you're working with banks, obviously you're leaning towards that private aspect. I just want more direct wording is what I'm looking for. If I don't see it, then that's not what they're trying to convey. But if I see it, it's like, okay, then it lends credence to where my mind is going towards, which shows us we're on the right path. You know, some people don't like that. They tell me that. They don't like that. Well, it's confirmation bias. So if you're on the highway and you're heading towards exit 138, you know that's where you're supposed to go, or whatever exit you're on. And suddenly you see a sign says, hey, this exit in 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles. That's the same thing we're doing here. We're on a pathway. We're on an information highway, and we're trying to, make sure we're on the right path towards the correct exit. If not, we need to go a different direction. Anyway, as I said before, see, you guys don't have to read all these different comments from every single video since you first came out. YouTube, when you do have the YouTube, what do they call that? The app thing that it's like a place where you make your video, you do all your video info, whatever it's called. They give you every freaking comment since your first video all at the same time. If your first video gets a comment, you're getting flooded. Who decided that? So anyway, I get to see all of these different things. So sometimes when I speak, I'm addressing those things. All right, so this is pretty good. Good activity. Let's see how long. Okay, let's go to this article here. I told you this is going to be a powerful article. I was not kidding at all. Let's get to it. I took enough time on that first article. Good job, Ripple. Keep doing positive things. This article is titled, Did You Make It to This One? Oh, yes, this is what I was excited about. UBS chair warns of systemic risk. What have I been exposing? Talk to me. Oh, we do good work here. What have I been speaking about in all these videos, members only videos? Digging deep. Did you see the other members only video I just released? What was I saying? What was I speaking on? Once more, UBS chair warns of systemic risk from private credit ratings. Look this up, do a Google search, use your AI, so you can see all the articles that's coming out about this now. We cracked it wide open, I told you. But they're not telling you the whole truth like I am. Watch the regular videos, don't miss any of them, because lately it's been, because the financial system, the legacy financial system, let me get more serious here. Because there's so much going on and there's so many fires, information is just pouring out now. So we've had much more to dissect. Every single video has been powerful. Members only video has been powerful. Check out that 1.5. There's a reason why it's 1.5. It's 1.5 because when I get to part 2, holy smokes, I'm just collecting. They're feeding me right now. But let's keep going here. So don't miss. If you miss out, that's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying. Both the regular videos and those videos, they all come together. They go together to paint a picture. Like what this person is about to say. Systemic risk from private credit. We were going over this. You remember? Did you see everything I presented? And of course, here's the war. So he's saying this. I pulled from so many sources. Official sources, as I showed, about this systemic risk. There's a lot of systemic risk. Private credit, liquidity. Oh my, so I don't want to give too much away because the members they have some information. Apollo CEO fires back. Here's the war rearing his head. It's spilling over into the mainstream. They can't hide it. And he's a liar. I say that with all due respect. But I have to call it as I see it. He's a liar. He literally contradicts himself in this very article. Why? Because there's a faction of them that don't want you to know There's a problem because firstly, you would profit off the downfall of the system. Number one. Number two, you would protect your value probably with gold, not financial advice. I'm just saying if one was wise, they would protect their value. Everyone is doing it for a reason. Everyone that's worth their salt. Researchers definitely are protecting their value. That's two. Three, they don't want you in on it and sharing in this explosion in value that comes when they profit off the downfall of that system, the legacy system, and the rising of the new financial system. They don't want you to know. This is one way that's threatening systemic risk. What about all the others? What about that? In this article, the UBS chair says exactly that. Then the other guy says, wait, no, I disagree with him. He's wrong. Only to then in the end say that he was right. There is systemic risk. Let me show you. I'm going to prove it to you. It says the tension between big banks and private credit giants is flaring up again. That's very interesting considering a lot of the different banks are the ones issuing different loans and credit to non-banking financial institutions. We literally read that a week ago from big time article writers. See how they're already priming you with misinformation, in my humble opinion? Listen, and you don't have to go by what I say. I'm not saying, see, they're the ones saying, trust us. Trust us. I'm not saying trust me, although I would trust me if I were you. But I'm the one saying, look it up for yourself and trust you. Trust yourself. And trust yourself above all others. That's what I'm saying. Research. If you want to know more, you want to actually know how bullish all these bank coins actually are, and gold as well, and a little bit of Bitcoin, sprinkle a little bit of Bitcoin in there. So the tension between big banks and private credit giants is flaring up again. The latest tussle, look how they phrase it. The latest tussle, what was the tussle about? What do you mean by the latest tussle? Why don't they elaborate on that? Tussle. Right. Mm-hmm. You have to ask why. It's the most powerful thing we have. Don't let them get away with this. It says started as the chair of UBS. This is the tussle. This is not the tussle. There's a deeper thing happening here that they're alluding to. But you and I both know because we saw it all. We've seen it happening. Let's keep going. The chair of UBS warned about risks in the U.S. insurance industry due to private financing. Same thing we've been talking about here. One of many. Calm Kelleher warned that the, quote, lack of effective regulation, unquote, in the insurance industry is causing a, quote, looming systemic risk. Now, don't confuse that when they say insurance industry. All right. See how they use these terms. It makes it confusing. But we know what they're talking about. This is about banks and non-banking financial institutions and credit, as they said before. But then they use this particular verbiage. It sort of muddies the waters. Like, what did it mean? Quote, looming systemic risk. Looming. It's right there. When something looming, if I were, let me not say, if someone, I'm not going to put myself in that position. If someone were, you're here and someone's over you, they're looming over you, they're right on you. That means that this systemic risk is right over the industry, right over everyone because they utilize the industry. That's a problem. Does it seem problematic? To each his own. It says looming systemic risk as there's a massive, quote, massive growth in small rating agencies ticking the box for compliance, unquote. And then he said this on Tuesday at a conference hosted by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. We're beginning to see huge rating agency arbitrage in the insurance business, unquote. So let's keep going. Keller's comments come as the insurance industry, a major institutional investor. See how this tied in? Institutional Let's keep going. That favors investment grade debt for its steady returns has piled into private credit assets. Private equity players have also bought or set up captive insurance lenders such as Apollo's Athene or partner directly with large insurance providers to invest their capital. On the private capital Giants' fourth quarter earnings call, Apollo CEO Mark Rowan, of course they're going to fire back. That makes perfect sense. They don't want to seem like they're they're part of this massive problem. Let's see here. It says, quote, calm is just wrong. He fires back. Rowan said, using Athene as a reference point, Rowan said that 70% of Athene's assets have 2 ratings from the largest, most established rating houses, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Rowan had nice things to say about small ratings agencies like Kroll and DBRS. Yeah, you can't step on their toes, but let's keep going. Which the firm also uses, explaining that the firms, quote, have most of the expertise right now in structured products, unquote. Okay, you're not really answering the question, sir. Why are you obfuscating from the point? Yeah, I like that word, obfuscate. Rowan was clear that not everyone had followed Apollo's lead, and that Keller was, quote, not wrong. So why did you say all of this, sir? It's mind-blowing. Almost leaves one just discombobulated. You just went through all of that only to say this, folks. Catch this. So Rowan, who just disagreed, said the man was wrong. The other man, who's talking about systemic risk from UBS. Now he says, quote, Keller, the man from UBS, was not wrong to think about and talk about systemic risk, unquote. Wait, yeah, I'm being dramatic, but entertaining at the same time. No. When I hit this, sometimes it'll go off. I can't tell if it's working or not. That green light will be on and it'll still not record. So hopefully you can hear me right now. I was doing too much. Yes, I was. You did all of that just to contradict yourself. You said he was wrong. Now you're saying he's not wrong. You just said he was wrong before. Look how they lie. You always catch liars contradicting themselves. I'm scrolling back up. Wait, I'm going to see if I can find it. Bear with me one moment. He warned that the lack of regulation. Okay, that's coming from him. Beginning to see huge arbitrage. Apollo CEO Mark Rowan fired back. Calm is just wrong, quote unquote. Middle of the page. Then you scroll to the bottom. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Wait. I lost my spot here. Quote, also from Rowan, Keller is not wrong to talk about systemic risks piling up. What? My word. Sometimes one needs to know when not to speak. Sometimes silence is more powerful than speaking. Right? Let your silence, represent you at times. We can think that one is a fool. This is an old ancient phrase. You can think that one is a fool, but don't open your mouth to remove all doubt. There's a problem systemically. Let's go here. Let's see what the other experts have to say about that. I want more clarity, don't you? You want more clarity on that? Right, because it's getting hot in here. So this is what it says here. The warning by the UBS chair, Calm Kellner, refers to a vulnerability in the financial system that could lead to a widespread crisis. Then they elaborate a little bit further about systemic risk. What did he mean by systemic risk? Systemic risk is the risk of a collapse of an entire financial system or a market as opposed to the failure of a single entity or component. I would rephrase that honestly. I wouldn't say of an entire system, but a widespread collapse. That's what I would say. Like a multitude, instead of a single thing, a multitude of banks and non-banking financial institutions going down. That's how I would classify systemic risk. I think what they meant was it's a threat to the entire system. I think that's what they were trying to convey. But hey, we all may write something that it's not so clear. I'm eloquent sometimes as well, and sometimes I'm not eloquent also. So I understand that. So it says it occurs when the default of one or a few large interconnected financial institutions or markets triggers a cascading effect causing widespread panic, a loss of confidence, and a contraction of credit that destabilizes or could destabilize the entire economy. We went over this before. You see how all this information is coming together? It all fits together. And now we're having more big timers come out and speak about this. So even a guy who came out and originally in the beginning of what he was saying said the man was wrong, in the end said he was not wrong. So even the opposing sides agree in the end. Hence why they need liquidity. Hence why everything that's going on at the Fed right now and this degradation of the relationship between the Fed and the other banks. You know what I'm talking about, members. That's key. Most people will never know. They don't even know. They don't know what's going on. Wow. And then they go into the spillover effect, but I think we know that. That's like contagion, the domino effect. The looming risk from private credit ratings. The UBS chair's warning is centered on what he called, quote, rating agency arbitrage, unquote. That's what we just read. In the rapidly growing $1.7 trillion private credit market, he explicitly drew a parallel to the subprime mortgage crisis. This lets you know how serious this is. Because some of you thought it was light. I wouldn't bring it to you if this wasn't something substantial. I wouldn't waste my own time. I don't feel like I have time to waste at this portion of my life. I'm here to make an impact, not just here on screen, but in life. I'm here to make an impact every second that I breathe, because I know moments are fleeting and precious. Trust me, I know that better than anybody, than almost anybody. But let's keep going. So I don't waste my time. So he explicitly drew a parallel to the subprime mortgage crisis of 2008. Really? Where inflated credit ratings played a key role in what? Let's scroll down. I want to see if they have anything more. So the danger arises because this practice masks the true risk on the balance sheets of systemically important institutions, like large insurance companies, and connects the fragile private credit market to the broader financial system. Let's go to Google for one moment, okay? Google. Bear with me one moment, please. We always have to do our research. It's been a good day. You having a good day? So, I want to know about banks. Here, it says major banks provide massive, this is what I was saying. I just wanted to confirm that what we read before a few days ago is correct. And here we have it again. So this is coming from Moody's. So this is serious business. Major banks provide massive credit lines, also known as subscription lines of credit or revolvers, to private credit funds. Why don't they say bank, the word bank, more in that document, in that article? They try to bury who's really behind it, who's really involved. They said it at the beginning and then didn't say it again. They just kept saying insurance, 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 insurance. And that's why I said they try to muddy the waters and confuse people. No, just say banks. Let the people know the banks are at risk in a multitude of ways. The banks have so much power. It's just ridiculous. Should not be that way, in my humble opinion. I mean, no disrespect. That's my humble opinion. It says here, to private credit funds. These credit lines allow the funds to draw money instantly to make a new loan before they call in capital for their long-term investors. The risk for banks. This part here, all right, is from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Serious business. Let's let them explain it. This essentially makes the bank a key source of liquidity. That is interesting, considering what we've been learning over the last few days. Liquidity, huh? Wow. They're in trouble, folks. They're in trouble. I didn't make it up. I showed you the proof. I'm showing you things coming from them. This information is coming from them. All right, let's keep going. So that essentially makes the bank a key source of liquidity for non-bank lenders. If a wave of borrower defaults, we've been speaking about this as well, occurs in the private credit market, the value of the private credit fund's assets drops. This can force the banks to reduce or withdraw their credit lines, or it can lead to direct losses for the banks if the fund cannot pay back its revolving debt. Interesting. All right, folks, let's see. I don't want to leave anything out, and I need to get to just a little bit. Once again, if you take those powerful hands and hit that like button, if I see people enjoyed this video, because there's more, we needed to go deeper, but I just don't have the time today. But if you wanted to continue on this and really get deep and really expose this here, if you hit that like button, I see the likes are substantial. We'll come back to this article like we did the other one before. I kept my word, did I not? Yes, I did. We'll come back to this article tomorrow because it gets deeper. So we'll see. All right, but I need to get to this little bit of Bitcoin news. All right. So let's go here. And if this article will load up here, why are all the articles? I don't know what it is or how they're doing it, but Yahoo Finance has had a lot of articles lately. It's just strange. And actually, this article here, for somehow they're posting this. It's from Decrypt, but it's on Yahoo. But Yahoo has been popping up. I don't know why Google is doing that. Why is Google? Can anyone explain that to me? Why is Google in the search results now when you're doing search, at least when I am? Why is Yahoo Finance so high now? I've never seen that over the years. I barely ever saw articles from them, but now it's ranking very high. Why is Google promoting a competitor, or do they not see Yahoo as a competitor anymore? Or you think they're just being fair? Like, oh, they're just being fair, so they have to promote anyone who's putting out articles. Maybe, I guess. Or they have good search engine optimization, I suppose. Anyway, this article is titled, How Bitcoin Liquidity Has Been Affected by Government Shutdown. All right, let me hear you out. Bitcoin already seemed to be nearing the end of its lengthy bull run when the U.S. government shutdown accelerated the pace of decline, analysts told Decrypt. They noted that the increase in the government's Treasury General account, TGA, we were just talking about this. Wow. It's getting creepy when we speak about things that are not being covered almost at all. They were dug up just by independent research. And then all of a sudden there's a mainstream article about that. It's just, I find that so strange. Like a few days later, there'll be an article about it. Suppose it's a synchronicity. I don't know. I used to have a person that used to say it all the time. It's a synchronicity. What does that mean? I know about cause and effect. I mean, this whole synchronicity thing seems a little bit random, the idea. They noted that the increase in, that's like saying coincidence, right? They noted that the increase in the government's Treasury General account, which has sapped asset markets, including crypto, of needed capital. Yeah, this is pretty much what I was covering like a few days ago. The U.S. government shutdown had pushed except I wasn't just making it exclusive. I was talking about the bank problems. I wasn't making it exclusive to just crypto. It says, quote, except in the way that the bank coins, this is another reason why the bank coins are going to thrive in the system. Quote, the U.S. government shutdown had pushed the Treasury's TGA account to $1 trillion, sucking approximately $700 billion from the market, and sent overnight repo, we've been talking about repo, or SRF, usage to record highs, starving risk assets of capital, unquote, BitMEX analysts told Decrypt. I beg your pardon. Bitcoin was trading at around $102,600, down 3.3% over the past 24 hours. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization has fallen more than 10% over the past 2 weeks and is off 18% since hitting its all-time high in early October. And I am not worried, not one bit. You know what countries are doing right now? Rubbing their hands together like Birdman. You know, from like Cash Money, maybe that's only old school people remember that. But he used to always do that like he was ready to, pounce upon something. Hopefully value, right? You know what large asset managers are doing right now? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what states who are looking into Bitcoin are doing right now? They're all licking their chops, waiting to grab some Bitcoin. I'll tell you this. I could be wrong. I'm not an absolutist. I'm not one of those people that's like, I know everything. I'm right about everything. No. But I'll say this. Use your own two eyes, right? I mean, use your own research. And once Bitcoin's price starts going up, watch closely who is buying. That'll tell you everything you need to know. I see this 100% as manipulation. 100%. And no, I don't think it's greatly tied to this. I think that a lot of things are used, a lot of these things are used as smoke screens for certain activities, so people won't be aware. So the smoke screen is the distraction. They say, well, there's a shutdown, so Bitcoin's affected, and there's a lot of manipulation going on, and the shutdown would be used because people are very serious about that. There's a lot of serious things connected to that, and that's a prime. That's a very, very good distraction for people to manipulate the price of Bitcoin, so other companies who they want to take advantage of. This is going to be a war between companies, not retail. Retail's been selling massively, both XRP and Bitcoin. And who's been buying? Companies buy XRP and as well as Bitcoin. So it's a distraction. But let's go here. I want to see something. I want to make a point. So let's see. Bitcoin's price. That was the price at the time of that article. Let's see what Bitcoin's price currently is. Right. So Bitcoin's price currently, a little Google again. This was at $101,149.20. Once again, I'm not worried about Bitcoin whatsoever. But let's go here. Also, let's type in gold. Gold price currently. Let's see what's happening with gold. All right. Let's see. So 24-hour chart price. Hold on. Bear with me one moment, please. Why don't they just bring it up on the Google search as they do crypto? I don't understand that. Gold has been established long before crypto. Put that on the Google page. Like the search engine brings up crypto prices right there. I don't have to click into any website, but it doesn't do that for gold. Gold is at $3,931.10. So it's down by a little bit, but also once more, not by very much in my humble opinion, not very much at all. If this was real, I mean, first of all, gold would be up. If the shutdown was as significant as they're saying, gold would be up significantly as a protective asset. People would be trying to protect their value. In my humble opinion, it's no different than geopolitical tension. That's not what we're seeing right now. So that sort of, in a way, negates that a bit. Negates that theory. Well, Bitcoin and then the shutdown, it's like, not so sure about that, but maybe. You tell me what you think. I could be wrong. So Bitcoin remains bullish. Nations still want it. States still want it. Large asset managers want it. And regular people now, no doubt about it, if you're concerned with retail activity, they're going to have their fill as well. They'll have their opportunities. Well, those who know. Bitcoin remains super bullish. It's a matter of time before Bitcoin skyrockets once more, in my humble opinion. I say that confidently, not as financial advice, because it's not that. That's my humble opinion. That's it. I only represent me. I don't represent anyone else. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Ooh, longer video today, but I was just flowing. Doing my natural thing. That's all. So it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed the entirety of this video. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.